You might have noticed something weird happening online lately. It's hard to explain exactly, but the internet just feels worse somehow. I mean, not slower exactly, and not smaller either. Just somehow harder to use and harder to find real information. Search results feel flooded with spam. Social media feels increasingly artificial now that everyone is using AI to generate content. And the interesting websites that once made the internet interesting seem to be disappearing, replaced by a handful of social media apps run by maybe 5 massive companies. If you felt that shift as well, you're not imagining it. Over the last decade, the structure of the internet has changed dramatically. What started as a decentralized network of independent websites has gradually turned into something much more centralized and platform driven. So instead of thousands of communities scattered across forums, blogs, and personal websites, nowadays most online activity now happens inside a handful of massive platforms, as I mentioned before. In other words, a few companies control the infrastructure where billions of people publish, communicate, and share information online. And when everything funnels through a few platforms, the internet stops being an open network and instead becomes a controlled ecosystem. What that means is that algorithms are deciding what content is visible, while corporate policies determine what can stay online. Entire communities can disappear overnight if a platform changes its rules, or if they go against the grain just a little bit. At the same time, a new problem has emerged that many users are noticing: the rise of automated content. AI content farms, SEO spam websites, and algorithm optimized articles are flooding search engines with pages designed to rank rather than inform. Basically, the internet is growing, but much of that growth isn't adding any value. It's mostly adding noise and low quality content. So we technically have more content online than ever before, yet it's becoming harder to find genuine voices and authentic communities that are not hidden behind expensive walled gardens or are not completely overrun with AI content that just feels empty. If you're interested in understanding how the internet is evolving and what alternatives might look like, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a ton and helps get this content out in front of more people. Now, here's the deeper issue at hand. The modern internet is built primarily on centralized infrastructure. What that means is that when you publish something online today, you're usually uploading it to a private company's servers. Your posts, videos, and messages are stored in corporate databases and controlled through those platforms' interfaces. That architecture concentrates power, and when power becomes concentrated like that, the internet stops being a network and starts becoming a collection of walled gardens. So the question is, what if publishing didn't depend on centralized platforms at all? What if data could live on a distributed network instead of a company's servers? This is the direction many blockchains are exploring, which is paving the way to the latest iteration of the internet called Web3. So Web3 is about storing data across different user nodes that collectively maintain the network. In systems like the Qortal data network, for example, content is published peer-to-peer rather than uploaded to a centralized server. That means your data isn't sitting on a single server controlled by a giant corporation. It's distributed across a network of nodes or individuals that all keep the information available and verifiable. The goal isn't just to build new apps, it's to rethink the infrastructure of the internet itself. When publishing becomes peer-to-peer, the internet starts behaving more like the open network it was originally designed to be. Communities can exist independently of platforms, and content can persist without relying on corporate servers on Web3. The internet can once again become something participants help maintain rather than something they simply consume. So when we say the internet feels worse today, what we mean is that we're sensing a deeper structural shift where the web has moved away from decentralized publishing and towards centralized platforms which are oversaturated with generic and lifeless content. But with the arrival of Web3, there is still some hope in the internet returning to network-driven infrastructure, where communities at the grassroots level can thrive independently of big tech companies. And if that shift happens, the web might start feeling like the internet we remember once again. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.